Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 14 of the digital marketing class at the College of Business and Analytics here at SIU. It's a class I've been teaching. This is my second semester, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity to take my real world experience and give some of that not only to the students, but to learn from the students and have these really engaging conversations that have been quite fun, comical. They definitely make me feel dated and old at times. And speaking of dated and old at times, there's not one of us that can't go back in time. Maybe some old school Wayne's World, as we go back to our youth and turning on the radio in the evening for the dedication line. And this was an evening where you could make dedications. You could profess your junior high and high school love or break up with that special someone on the radio. For many of us, the radio was a friend. It was a person that helped guide us, helped us mourn, helped us process feelings and emotions. And sometimes they weren't always the best songs to listen to for that, but we do have that certain connection with them when we listen. So, where's radio today as opposed to back when we were growing up and even in our younger years, pre-internet, pre-digital radio? Well, that's what we're going to talk about this week in digital marketing class at the College of Business and Analytics. We are going to have this really great conversation about AM/FM radio, traditional, with the streaming and how some of the AM/FM radio stations are basically adapting and embracing their channels to go online to be streamed, whether it's through apps or just through the website itself, that it can be streamed in the non-traditional over-the-airs kind of way. So that's going to be the discussion this week that we're going to talk about. I'm still finalizing our guest speaker. I've got a couple of feelers out there that are in the radio industry that will come and talk via in person, or we'll talk via Zoom to the class. We've been very fortunate to have some great industry leaders in all the topics that we've had this year come in and share their knowledge and experience. All right. So what are we going to talk about this week? Well, in some of our case studies, the requirements that they're going to have to read, we're actually going to break down traditional radio versus streaming audio. In those areas, we're going to be talking about cost, traditional and streaming cost, accessibility and reach, again, the traditional versus streaming. And we're going to talk about programming of traditional and streaming content. We're also going to look at some reports. One by Market Research Future, MRFR. Internet radio market is expected to reach 9.2 billion in an increase of 18.20% by 2030. We're going to see a lot of compare and contrast reports on, is FM AM dying? Is it redistributing itself or reinventing itself? Or is it doing just fine? So there's a lot of different compare and contrast research models that we're going to be looking at, and I'm hoping that it will start getting the wheels turning for many of the students to start thinking about how they use data, because next week we're going to be talking a lot about data. Another article that we're going to be looking at is, would you care if music disappeared from FM radio? You may only have a decade to save it. This is an article that was put out a little bit further back in 2019 by reporter Joe Andrews of CNBC. And then we're going to be looking at never before seen Nielsen ratings. This is actually from April of 22 last year. There's a great video that will kind of overview and sum up a lot of this, but there's also a breakdown of how AM and FM have worked for the last 25 years and what streaming radio and streaming services have affected on it. So all this is important because when we are coming up with digital marketing strategies or plans or where we're going to spend our money, we need to also consider where our audience is and where they're not. And if we're in an audience that is increasing and growing, right? We all want to put money in something that's going to continually grow, right? Or do we want to put money into something that might be starting to shrink a little bit? And so those are questions to have. Those are questions to ponder when you work for a business or organization that has to put your money, because many people don't just have tons of money to just throw out there. And even then, people have accountability of the expenses that they're going to accrue. Because at the end of the day, you have to get results. No matter what the ROI is, the return on investment, we have to be able to understand what people are looking for and what they're wanting. And if radio, traditional AM, FM is it, then we need to be well versed in it. We need to understand how it works, and we need to know the limitations that we have with that, as opposed to some of the more digital streaming services that even iHeartRadio, which embraces both, can have, and even local ones like Withers Broadcasting has an app that you can download and listen to all your local stations that you so choose. So I'm hoping this week is one that will be informational, will be fun, and will take us back a little bit. Those of us, actually, it's just me in the class, but for those of you watching, I hope this class this week will take us back a little bit to the days of the radio station and tuning in at a specific time every night. I think it was 8 o'clock, if I remember correctly, in South Dakota, seeing if you got dumped, if you had a crush, or if you were just a watcher and enjoying all the other drama by listening to the songs and reading into the songs that were dedicated. So have a wonderful day. If you are interested, or you have a grandchild or a daughter or a son, anybody that's interested in going to college, I cannot stress enough, the College of Business and Analytics is a wonderful college to go into at SIU, with lots of other degrees other than just marketing. We have accounting, MBA. We have a wonderful dedicated staff willing to work with the students and help them grow, and the network of what we have extending beyond SIU, not only graduates, but just the individual connections that the department is making to help place these young, brilliant, wonderful, and talented students that come out of the College of Business and Analytics out into the world to succeed, and to let people know that SIU has a wonderful program right here, and we would love for them to sign out. If you want more information, check the scrolly thing at the bottom and reach out to us. Everybody have a wonderful day, and go Salukis.